would tell my younger self to save money early, starting when you're really young. Also, to just appreciate things with your family and like your friends, um, and enjoying your high school years because they just go fast. And once you're done with high school, you all isolate to different colleges, and it's just a different time in your life.
Good. All right. What would you tell your younger self?
Well, hi, Carson. I think initially I would tell my younger self to take school more seriously. When we're young, we always think we have all the time in the world, and to start seriously earlier on in life, I mean, that just gives you the most advantage, and not to blow any courses off very young. Also, I guess, as a funny thing, I would say I would never join Father Joe's choir. Father Joe was a young boys choir I was in when I was very young in grade school, and quite frankly, it was a total bore, and I hated it. I guess the last thing I'd tell my youngest self is always buy flowers for your mother every single Mother's Day. It lets you go far.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What would you tell your younger self?
Travel more. Take some more time to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would do that. Travel more, work hard, keep working hard. Don't make dumb decisions.
Mm.
I don't know. Don't get married the first time. That would probably be the number one. That would be it on that, I
What would
think.
you tell your younger self?
Ooh. My younger self. I would tell my younger self to think a lot more about the future and think a little less about the past.
What would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self to fully enjoy everything that I'm doing, enjoy every minute of everything I'm doing. And I also would enjoy every moment that I spent with my parents and not take any of that for granted.
What would you tell your younger self?
Tell my younger self. I'd probably tell my younger self to pay attention more to what your parents are trying to teach you, because they know a lot, but when you're young, you think you know everything. So we all go through that phase. I would just probably really focus on just going back and giving the respect and listening more and trying to learn more as a young adult, basically.
What's the best piece of advice for someone as young as I am?
Some advice I'd tell somebody your age first would be don't fall under pressure from others around you. Make the best decisions for yourself, and you'll go far in your life. When you get your license, don't be stupid and think you got all this freedom right away, because it'll come back to bite you in the butt. I promise you it will. It's happened to me myself. It happens to a lot of other people I know. And lastly, in school, get into some sport or club activity. It's better than doing nothing, and you're contributing to your school. And yeah.
All right. What would be the best piece of advice for someone as young as I am?
The best piece of advice for you. Well, you are a young man. I guess from what I've seen in the world these days is I would tell you study computers as often as you can. Learn every course you can about computers. It seems to be the wave of the future. Different from my time, of course, but programming and apps and everything seems to be pretty incredible these days. Also, I would say for a young man like you, involve yourself as best you can in politics. Not necessarily national politics, but local politics. Understand who your principals are, your board members, people that you're involved with, and the decisions that they make. Another thing I'd say is keep an open mind to all ideas, as weird as they may seem, as bizarre as they may sound. You never know what the next great idea is going to be. And that seems like something that's pretty prevalent. I did a couple notes. Like I said, probably a good idea to always put away some money in your sock drawer for a rainy day. You never know when you need some extra money, and starting when you're young, it's a good idea to put it away. Kind of lastly, on a funny note, is don't ever drive your truck or car without getting your license first, because it doesn't work out well. Yeah.
What would be the best piece of advice for someone as young as I am?
Get good grades. Don't start doing drugs. Don't smoke. Drink in moderation. Focus on yourself. Always be true to yourself. Don't let other people influence you in your decisions. Just be you.
What would be the best piece of advice for someone as young as I am?
I think I would just think about your decisions. Everything you think about now, there's so much more to life and the world, and just try to experience as much as you can as young as you are. It's a great life. You just have to make the best of it.
What would be the best piece of advice for someone as young as I am?
Best piece of advice would be to stay in school, further your education after high school, listen to your parents, because even though it might seem like we don't know what we're talking about, we do. Start saving money early. As soon as you get a job, start saving money, and getting a credit card so that you can start building your credit. So when you're older, you have that all established and nothing to worry about. And probably don't be afraid to try things, even if you fail. Try them, and try them again if you need to, but don't ever be afraid to try things that you're interested in.
What would be the best piece of advice for someone as young as I am?
The 15 and 16-year-old bracket age, I think the best piece of advice would be to really soak up everything that you're learning from your teachers, adults. Like, instead of just kind of like, oh yeah, the adults are talking, or yada yada yada, kids like to be on their phones and stuff, I would say absorb as much as you can, because the more information you have will be able to make you more successful, because the people that you're listening to and learning from have gone through your era, your age, have made mistakes, and you're going to make mistakes, but just soak up everything. Have your eyes open. When your parents or somewhere drive a car, pay attention to where they're going. Pay attention to how they got there. Don't just, wait till you're 18 and go, but boy, I don't know how to do anything. Learn young from the adults that surround you.
Do you have any regrets?
Yes, I do. Something I do regret is I lift now, but I wish I started lifting at a more young age than when I started. Another thing is I only played one sport in high school. I wish I affiliated myself with more than one sport, or at least tried out for one more sport. And another regret I had was saving money. I wish when I was working and getting my paychecks, that I took more money out of them rather than only taking such little out. I could have probably a lot more money saved. Yeah.
Is there anything that you would regret?
In my life so far?
Yeah.
I think there's a few things I regret. One of those would be being younger, not buying left-handed golf clubs. I was right-handed. I was left-handed, but the only thing I could afford at the time were a used pair of right-handed golf clubs. So I really regret not learning how to fully golf left-handed, being that I'm left-handed. I think I also regret maybe not sticking with lifting weights or staying in the gym and working out after high school. That's something that just kind of took a backseat to starting school and a career and essentially that kind of stuff. Regret. Probably, I'd say not buying Bitcoin 7 years ago. I regret not doing that. That would have been a really cool thing. And I probably mostly regret not listening to my parents' advice more. And looking back, I'd say they always had really good advice. They knew what they were talking about, but wish I had listened a little better. So, thanks.
Do you have any regrets?
Not too many. Wouldn't say anything major. No. I would say all the decisions that I made that were maybe not great decisions or whatever, I learned from them. And that's the most important thing you want to do.
Do you regret anything?
Regret? That's a tough word. I do regret some things. I think my biggest regret would probably be as a teenager being so mean to my mom. Thinking that she didn't know what she was talking about and I knew it all. And I feel bad for treating her so bad when I was a teenager. As you get older, you really realize that my mom, my dad, they were always right. I thought I was a teenager and I knew it all. And now I miss those years and you can never get them back.
Do you regret anything?
The only regret that I have would be continuing my education past my RN degree. I really wish I would have pushed myself to go back to school to get my master's degree. Obviously now, so much further down the road in my life, I don't think I would ever do that. But that's one regret. And then probably trying a lot harder once the kids were around young school age years, to try to go back to work and work at least in some position in a clinical setting as a nurse instead of being a full-time stay-at-home mom, although I totally enjoyed it and I don't regret that part of it. I just wish I would have kept doing some sort of nursing before completely leaving that field.
Any regrets?
If you really break it down, probably not, because what I always try to teach my own family or my kids, like if you make a mistake, you learn from it. You know, you're always learning. So I'm not gonna say I have regrets, because everything I've done, I thought was the right decision at the right time. So I can look back and say I really have no regrets. Right out of high school in the Army, did I want to change that? No, I'm pretty happy with my decisions. My family, landing the job that I did. I don't really believe in regrets. I know it sounds bad. It's not probably the answer you're looking for, but like any mistake you might have made is something you thought was correct at the time. So you can't regret it. You gotta just learn from it, is how I take it.